Perfect. Exhausted, but we're here to see these teams have a good time. So thank you everybody for tuning in, and I think we'll just get right into it. Actually, yeah, that'd be nice. I'd love to see a 7 Irby drop. That'd be fantastic. So I'll start with the KDCM side of things. We have an Osiris 1P, we have the Viper F, we have the Piranha, the Cypher, the hero. That's a rare pick. We have the Locust 3V, the Commando DO3, the Incubus Saber, and the Phoenix Hawk 7S. Uh, And so looking at KDCM's mechs, they're actually all full brawl rushing. The Incubus has Alistrums and machine guns. The Osiris is the same. The Vipers, HMG, small pulse, and they're just going full for it here. They do have that Jenner scouting high and Alard and that Fury with that earlarge Jenner. He is going to see them. He does see them. He's getting the earlarge burns across to the Sigma cap. So KDCM's push has been scouted. How is 228 going to respond? Absolutely. We do see 228 all going to water though right now themselves. So it looks like they're going to receive them in the water. That's not a bad idea. So not much is happening yet, but KDCM is coming. They're just full bore sending and full pushing onto this Theta side cap here. I like the angle 2-2 is taking to receive this at this point. I like the mechs they have with the beam shuttle and everything like that. Here they're receiving by the boat. This is going to be where the game is win or lost here. Their focus is on Weapon Master and the Viper. That's a smart play because he has the highest DPS of them all. They're swarming Jay, though. Jay's just a little bit caught out of position. Same for Gladisaur. Gladisaur's going to go down, actually, which is really bad because that's one of the highest DPS mechs that was on 2-2 with those beams. Shadowcat. That Shadowcat should have been with the other guys in the back of the map. Jay, as well, out of position. Just a couple hundred meters ahead of the team, and that's enough to be out of position. They do trade Tios and Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, though. But now they're going to swarm Syrup Owner. That's actually really good with the two fleas coming in the back. They're going to get Weapon Master. They're turnaround Trillic. They are going to get Epic Opponent just a minute. There he is. Leg on the Epic Opponent. These lights, it's not a win yet, though. These lights are very fresh for KDCM. They're going to... Maybe. Yes. They're going to kill the Kiplock in just a second, though. But Way the Fair does get lagged. That significantly hampers KDCM's chances. So this one is just Call Me Gil and Zelnega. Way the Fair does go down. So they're going to focus Call Me Gil. That's the right target. But those two fleets are just going to absolutely clean up this Call Me Gil fight, though, this 2v1 fight. And Andor's... Yeah, no, there's the leg on the Commando and the Fleas. They're 2v1 at this point. He's going to tank forever, and there it goes for 228. Mhm. Yeah, 27 in the Phoenix Hawk. He was clearly the object of 228's focus fire. Really dicey with the Shadow Cat being as far up as it was, though. I'd have really liked to see that Shadow Cat almost in the back, meat, even using his team as meat shields almost, because that Shadow Cat's like by far the highest DPS mech on their team. You want that to stay alive till the end. We do see Royal Star in the Flea though, 5 kills, and Fire Ant and the other Flea 1 kill. So those Fleas got 6 kills for T2H's team. That's impressive. Been dramatically more effective. Next is Luthien. Yeah, so not a whole lot to talk about with that drop, but let's try anyway. I don't like KDCM's mechs. I'm gonna be entirely honest. If you're full sending, I don't like the light PPC Phoenix Hawk. I don't like investing tonnage into that sort of a mech. Yep, it's absolutely. And the Phoenix Hawk is very it's tanky, but I would say less so in a sort of light drop. It's more tanky when it's having to contend in these like medium and heavyweight drops rather than when it just has to deal with a bunch of lights. I do wonder though if those fleas hadn't just run up from behind and instead had they been there the whole fight, would that drop have been less close? Yeah, the fleas cleaned up, but did they need to clean up? What if they were just there in the water shooting them the entire time? Yeah, like it looks very. That's true. Yeah, yeah, and that good point on the streaking abyss. I don't know. I would have really liked to see that be a or I would have really liked to see the streak incubus rather than the Storm incubus. I think the Storm incubus is of dubious effectiveness when it's mostly just shooting a bunch of lights, right? Because you're just naturally going to have issues with the Storms getting good damage outside of like literally point blank range onto those really tiny light legs. Like those light legs are just so much smaller than the Storm mounts in that incubus, if that makes any sense at all. That yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. And it's like the streaks, yeah, oh, it's auto aim, it's not as pinpoint, but it's enough. I mean, against all these light mechs, it really takes only a couple volleys, 10, 15 seconds of shooting while he's standing in the water legged. It's just another, the word fails me. It's like, it's just ease of play, ease of use too, because you can have that mech there in the water. And it's like, oh, okay, you're not useless there sitting legged in the water. You're still like a turret almost, just shooting your auto aim streaks, if that makes any sense.
My mic is.
I hear you.
This is not. So, okay, I might not have had my mic going on for that, but it's okay. You were doing most of the shoutcasting anyways. Nothing important happened on my end. Don't worry about it, guys. I think both teams actually just locked, so glad I got that sorted for the next one.
Perfect. And we'll go straight into it. Teams, we do see KDCM dropping 5 under, but that's not outside the realm possibility, outside the realm usual.
Yeah, I think 5 is, again, probably comfort. I don't think I dropped low tonnage a single time this tournament. Like, I think the tonnage is quite valuable, but
yep,
5 tons, like, it could just be like a comfort mech thing.
Yeah, we dropped 5 in both the later drops, and it was specific, basically exactly for that.
Yeah, I would say any more than 5 though, and it starts to get really dubious.
Agreed. At that point, you have to start analyzing what could you bring better for 10 tons.
And it basically is like only if you're pushing, like full sending, like complete drill push where you just want max speed and the smallest legs. It's the only reason why you should go below 5, in my opinion. Which makes it really obvious to the other team, so you probably don't want to do that because it makes it so obvious.
Exactly. It's the whole mind games in the lobby type thing. You go too far under, and it's like you give away your strap before you even see anything. Because there's no other reason to drop light.
Let me click the max.
So I'll start with KDCM. So we have the Phoenix Hawk 7S, we have the Javelin 11F. That's an interesting pick. With the Spider 5K, the Vulcan 5S, a Summoner G, an Orion 2C, a standard Orion 2C at that, and a Flea 17.
Standard Orion 2C is the most interesting by far. What does that have on it? Do you mind sharing?
I need to find him.
Large X-Pulse Spider 5B. Making a comeback from CS.
I am lost.
Binary Assassin 101. Huh.
So it's the triple heavy large Gauss. So I guess it's sort of like an anchor trader, almost, with that Orion 2C. Interesting, I like it.
Okay, Summoner with 4-year large going up to above EPSI.
Very curiously though, Snack in the Summoner G for KDCM, he has medium pulse and heavy large. So that's like a vomit summoner, basically.
Interesting.
Oh, yo, do you see that Binary Assassin for Syrup Opponent looking down at Theta? KDCM is making a pretty swift move behind Theta here. I don't think they're not trying to contest it though. Maybe Wayfair's thinking about it, but they have that out of the map Lava Daishi and that summoner looking all the way down clear lanes to Theta. I think it's scaring off KDCM from contesting it.
Yeah, it gets really good damage.
Way the Ferret is on it now.
Every single time
I'm not
people
sure how Lava Daishi's letting this happen. Syrup Opponent. They
gets
almost got Theta off of that actually.
Yeah, they're gonna get it here. I think
they're actually gonna get it. Yeah, Call Me Gil just has to re-step. He has to re-step in that flea, literally just in one side, out the other, and they'll be able to get it. Way the Ferret does take quite a bit of damage to his legs, though. 15%, pretty much exclusively to the legs. He has open right leg, in fact, in that Vulcan. That's
a
great
big deal,
for the start of the game.
Gotta be really careful from now on. Yeah, I'd like to see this flea make another pass. I know it kind of got burnt there, but like they got so much of the cap that if he just just steps through it, he's gonna get it.
I don't think they realize how close they were to actually capping that. I think the flea literally just needs to make one pass and they get that cap, and that really helps him out. But he's not doing that. Call Me Gil and the flea is in fact looking down towards Epsilon right now.
I want to point out that Jay-Z is probably going to grab the back cap in like 10 seconds here. That 5e doing its thing. And that's going to put KDCM on the clock. So what will they do? Will they try for EPSI, or are they going to try harder on Theta? Will they send people back to Kappa?
I really would like KDCM to be cognizant of the fact that they almost have Theta. That makes their game so much easier at this point in time. They're pretty balled up, though. On this Gamma side of the map, we see Weapon Master and Snek in those two heavies for KDCM. You don't really want those guys in the same spot. You want them taking different angles, different spots.
They lost Kappa just now, by the way. So 1 cap to 3 with no cap on Theta for either team.
So they have to start moving pretty quickly, but I don't know if they're going to be able to. They have Gladiator and the Cicada here on this rock with excellent scouting, excellent angles in that. I believe that's an ERPPC Cicada.
Summoner
yes,
is going to enjoy himself up here is what I think.
Yeah, they have a really good crossfire established from Lavadaishi and the Summoner and Gladiator and the Cicada, plus the rest of 228 mechs, which are basically just mid-range vomit mechs. Weapon Master's getting burned pretty heavily in that Orion, peeking into 2-3 people at once. His CT is just about open. One more shot, and it will, in fact, be open. And Fire Ant made his way onto Theta for 228. So all that cap progress completely reversed, and now it's a solid 4 cap.
KDCM have about 30 seconds to make a play somehow, or they lose, essentially, with a 4 cap on this big-ass map with a 5e on the other team. They are getting Kappa back. So that's something. Go over there in the flea. Jay-Z's actually going to come back and deny him with a large X-Pulse. I don't think Gil can hide behind the cap from a spider like this.
I think KDCM has a big advantage in terms of Pop-Tarts. They clearly brought a significant number of these Pop-Tart, these kiting, skirmishing likes. They really need to be using that to take space on this map.
I think Gil's dead. Well, maybe not. They're going to come back. Okay, this is going to be the fight then.
Yeah, this could be very influential. KDCM is, in fact, coming back with that Vulcan. That Vulcan's quite hurt, though, but Tios and Zelnega, this Spider and Javelin, are going to have shots on this. Call Me Gil is just instantly done, though.
Yeah,
Call Me Gil just got knocked out just that quickly. Yes. Almost too quickly. Even a little bit more time to die there, and they might have been able to play off of that.
I don't. Yeah, they're just going to get off scot-free.
Yep. They're going to pull away scot-free and get that pick on that flea.
And they had 4 cap. Oh, they had 4 cap, and now they're going to have 3 caps. So it's like you've lost a mech, and you're still behind majorly on caps.
Not just any mech, but your flea.
Yeah, the only mech that could really turn around the cap situation. So it's not looking good for them. The Orion's going to try to get the Arctic Wolf here, but I think he's showing his back, though.
Too much, but he walked into a 2-way crossfire in doing so, dead. And he will go down for it. Endoward will go down from Sneck Summoner playing the corner. That doesn't matter.
Oh, he shut down, actually. I think he would have, if he had just fallen down.
I think his torso got blown off.
Yeah.
Oh, he actually does live.
Wow.
He does live in that Arctic Wolf. That's criminal.
Gotta shoot the butt there. Gotta shoot the butt. Okay, I didn't notice Whiskey was legged.
Still has the 2 heavy larges in that Arctic Wolf, so he actually still has some weapons, funnily enough, in that Arctic Wolf. And they're all high mount in the torso, so you're actually not too bad off.
Fire Ant grabbing Kappa. I would honestly, like, the Spider might go for Kappa again. The Fire Ant is grabbing, in the Locust grabbing Gamma, though, so they're probably gonna look for a 5 cap pretty soon here.
Oh, and Whiskey Tango Foxtrot at some point got legged in that Beanstalk, too.
Yeah, I did say that. Tios and, I think, Ferret are gonna try to force. They didn't even get Sigma, by the way. They're just playing for decaps now. I think they have kind of accepted it's probably
there's Jay-Z coming behind Way the Ferret and Tios. He's actually just going to take the fight. Jay-Z smells blood, and I don't blame him. He actually just gets the leg on Way the Ferret for nothing. They're not able to get Jay-Z's leg, and he's able to just bail. Yeah. What is this? This is crazy.
It's good play. Good play from Jay-Z this game from what I've seen.
Oh, my goodness.
Pretty much perfect play.
And it's the advantage in having the Cicada play the High Rock and the Lavadaishi Summoner play the Epsilon High Rock in the back. You just have a lot of scouting. You have a lot of lanes to look down with those 2 mechs, so you can see movements before like guys on the ground will be able to see it. KDCM doesn't have any of that going on.
Yeah. I think positionally, 228 played this really well. I really like the double fast cap mech as well for how they set up. And just kind of run circles around KDCM.
Zelnega's legged his Javelin, and that's about going to be all she wrote for KDCM. They're basically all legged at this point, except for Sneck and Tios.
Yeah. I expect...
I lied, even Tios is legged. So the entire team is legged now, except for Sneck.
And Tios is just going to get going out in the open here by the Marauder, I think. Oh, he lives that burn. Tios literally like 1 HP on his leg. Does go down. I bet this Summoner has a good amount of farm, but I unfortunately don't think that the rest of his team had as good of a time this game. Whiskey goes down. Zell goes down. I think the Vulcan's legged somewhere. Yeah, it's legged over on Sigma. Just hiding under the bridge. Snake goes down. Epic Poner actually suiciding at the end there. Did he get that kill? I didn't see it.
Epic Poner died to self-destruction.
Yeah. Did he blow himself up getting the kill, or did he? Because I guess he was trying to get the kill.
I think it was the bounty hunter. I believe it was the bounty hunter who got the kill.
Wait, the Ferret gonna shut down for a second. Back up.
And there's Fire Ant to come finish the job on that legged Vulcan. Never mind, actually, the game capped out 750, and that will be drop 2 in favor of 228. Honestly,
very well played from 228.
Incredibly commanding win. I love their deck. I love the way they played it. I love their rotations. I think they played that almost perfectly. Yeah, I think KDCM hard dropped the ball on Theta just a slight bit, and their game is just so tremendously much easier.
I think that I was definitely like having a raised eyebrow at the assassin specifically. Maybe I gotta like check that thing because 438, that's pretty good. Not bad. The summoner did get the 460 damage. I was kind of talking about the rest of his team a little bit less. You see the flea with 6 damage. Phoenix Hawk with 90. And again, they just did not have the caps anytime during that game. So
really not tough. Even just caps either. They didn't have the damage either. Like 228 had just more fire down more angles and was punishing KDCM. It just seemed like KDCM were running around back and forth, up and down, left and right, not really sure which direction to go or what to do. Yeah, and 228 just had all these angles locked down.
I feel like 228, they took a very I want to say flexible deck where they had, the summoner up high and then a bunch of fast movers. I think KDCM, if they had just, like you said, gotten Theta and then just like held Gamma outside the summoner's line of sight and not crossed repeatedly through the open into line of sight of things like the summoner and the marauder, then that would have looked very different. If they just held their hard 3 cap, made sure that Locust and Spider couldn't steal their back cap and, get Theta for free at some point.
Conversely, I actually feel a little bit different. I think comparing the guns on the two teams' mechs, I think 228 has a lot more guns spread across a lot more space. Like even that assassin, right? You have that laser vomit assassin, you have that laser vomit hybrid Arctic Wolf, you have that laser vomit bounty hunter, you have the large summoner, even the PPC cicada has good angles on top of the rocks. Really the only mech, and then of course you have that Locust 3V, which is just an omnipresent like strong pick. That Locust 3V can dive near anything in the game and pretty much take it out. It commands a tremendous amount of space alone with that mech. So really the only mech you don't have with guns is that Spider 5V, but they made up for it on the rest of their deck, whereas KDCM hedged more bets on 2 heavies. And I mean, not even the 2 heavies, honestly, because if you look at the like Orion 75, you have the Summoner 70. That's the same as 228, actually. Bound Hunter 75, Summoner 70. But I think KDCM just has these more like skirmishing Pop-Tart lights.
I want to point
them these mechs that want to like be shooting like 228's mechs.
Yeah, it's interesting that what you said about the Locust and the Spider, but funny enough, the damage was actually reversed. Like the Locust didn't shoot at all, and the Spider actually like farmed the Flay's leg, and I think got the Vulcan's leg at some point. I mean, we were watching him. Obviously, like I'm not disagreeing with you, but it is funny that the Locust actually never engaged during that entire game. It literally only played caps.
He didn't have to.
Yeah,
they didn't have to. He didn't have to engage. Just the thing. It's like this missile. It's like this cap seeking missile. You can run it around just missile seeking at caps, but if you find some mech to just drive at, you can do so super easily with that mech.
Obviously, the weakness being that if your opponent holds a hard 3 cap from a distance, it can be really hard to do anything, right? Where if you can't step on the back cap and you can't close in without getting legged, then you are functionally useless. So pros and cons to that mech for sure, but they made a really good use of it. Team 1 is locked. You think that what I've noticed, most teams run very similar decks on a map. Like they don't often change up what they do, or even the mechs. Do you think that we'll see like similar decks from both teams here going into this next round?
I'm hoping KDCM goes back to the specialty of rushing. I think if I'm KDCM, I'm looking at that last match and I'm thinking we can't run that again. We can't try that again.
Mm-hmm. Well, I will say that they did try to rush in the first drop, right? And it didn't quite work out, but it was close. Like it was very close.
It was good. It was good. Yeah. And I would argue with a couple mech choices, a couple mech and or build choices, like we talked about, maybe something over a Phoenix Hawk, something a little bit better in pushing than a Phoenix Hawk, a Streak Incubus, maybe even another Streak, doesn't matter. You come out ahead potentially in that. It was close enough to where slight differences in mech's optimization, should we say, could have made the difference, actually.
Probably close enough that even like palette difference would have been enough. Like a couple more hit shots, for example. Hard to say 100%, but yeah, it was definitely a very close drop of that first one. Second one, not so much. And they're both locked.
And we'll get going. Come on, KDCM. I want to see it. I want that full brawl strat. I know you guys are good at it. You're proficient at it. It's a good map to bring it on. Let's see it.
I honestly, that's a good point that you're saying that though, because I don't think 228's deck in the last game really would have done that well against a brawl push. If you actually looked at it, like Spider 5v, yeah, I think they probably would have gotten crushed by a proper brawl push. If you actually think about it, I mean the summoner's up high, but it's also just like only 4-year large. Like the Marauder's hot. It's just alpha vomit. They actually don't have like any sustained DPS if you think about that deck. Like they don't really have any machine guns.
And there it is. Looking at KDCM's deck, we have an Arctic Wolf 1, a Shadowcat D, a Viper F, Ice Ferret J, Phoenix Hawk 7S, Assassin 21, and a Black Runner Belinarius. There's only one thing you're doing with those mechs, and that is a full send. What do we see over from 228?
Yeah, it's this literally the same exact deck they just ran.
Okay.
So I was kind of on the money with 228 side, but yeah, KDCM mixing it up here. Lava Daishi actually gonna jump up to the spot that Coalition used earlier today and lost with, but it's quite a good spot. So that'll be key in if they stop this push. Lava Daishi is gonna need to farm the legs as they come in, essentially.
Man, I hate seeing the Phoenix Hawk in a Brawl Rush, though. I think it's very weak in a rushing deck, genuinely. And they had 5 more tons. You could have optimized that pick.
I think again the Shadowcat is just such an obvious. Oh, well, they have a Shadowcat actually, so I take that.
Yeah. But they have a Phoenix Hawk as well. I really think this Phoenix Hawk is almost like a negative mech in this full send DPS push. I don't like that. We do see this Brawl push coming from the side, super quick and aggressive with the KDCM. They see some of these mechs in the front, like the Webmaster, the Teos, and the Trillic, and the Viper, but they also have a flank coming around with Calm and Go in the Black Lantern, Zelnega, and the Ice Fairy. I don't know how they're going to manage this summoner.
Weapon open leg already exposed for really no reason other than scouting, maybe, but yeah.
Yep.
Open leg. Zell and Gil going in by themselves. But they're gonna
just a lack of communication here. KDCM should have just kept pushing almost to the open. But
yeah, but they are gonna go now. Keep in mind that like 228's
they're gonna get that Royal Star and that Marauder. They will get him.
228's deck is really hot. Zell's getting focused.
Zelnega, look at Zelnega back here. He's way overextended. He has like 3-4 people shooting him right now. He is gonna get legged and gonna get killed basically for free.
Yeah.
He's keeping 3. Their mediums occupied, but does that matter? Sir Epic Opponent does actually get legged by all that DPS though.
Teos trying to get up to the summoner and failing.
Dies too in that Arctic Wolf. How did Andalar die? Uh-oh. That's really bad. He was like fresh.
Oof.
This is actually working for KDCM.
Did he get backshot perhaps?
Tremendously well.
Yeah, he did get backshot straight through the rear. Yeah,
we see Teos trying to climb up. If Teos does have enough jump jets, if you put in, he didn't.
He doesn't know. Yeah, you gotta come from the other side though. You gotta come from the other side. It's much easier.
Oh, he doesn't have enough jump jets to get up to the summoner.
I think he does. He'll figure it out. If he comes from this side, it'll be easy for him to jump up.
McCall Gil is legged in the Black Lantern, so really it's Trillic and oh no, they have a number of mechs here. So this one, 228 just kind of stringing them out with Jay-Z and the Spider and Gladosaur in the Cicada.
And Teos still struggling. I think he'll get up here eventually, but yeah, you need to jump like it's like here.
Yeah, I don't know if Lava Daishi knows what's coming.
Whiskey
finally bails. He finally drops, which is smart.
Ferret and Whiskey.
All Teos and Weapon have to do here is just surround him. And Teos legged himself.
Ooh.
Oh, Teos legged himself. Oh.
Weapon Bastard, by the way, both legs like open. They might actually lose.
Yeah, Weapon Bastard's legged, right leg like orange, and Teos is leg 2.
So I'm gonna look at the other fight. I think it's more deciding because 228 needs to win the light fight to have a chance to get in the caps.
They do kill Lava without trading, but these are 2-legged mechs back here.
Fire Ant gets legged. That's absolutely ginormous. I think that with that, it's probably over for 228. He does get Way of the Ferret though.
They do trade Way of the Ferret, yes.
Problem is just
do get Fire Ant.
Trillic chasing this spider that can't fight back because it's a cap spider. Right.
I think that's the smart pay, though. I think Whiskey and Trillic here need to converge on Gladosaur and the Cicada, because you're not going to catch the Cicada.
I mean,
We're
right
not gonna
now
catch the spider.
right now it is the Arctic Wolf's managing to stay on him.
For now, but he is open leg. He is one shot left leg. The Cicada gets one good hit. Cicada misses.
Arctic Wolf, yep, like you said.
He does turn for the Cicada, which is good, but...
Ooh, nice turnaround from Jay-Z getting the leg, by the way. I think Jay-Z got that.
There goes the leg, yep. And all the while, 228 is sitting on a 3-cap 440 to KDCM's 2-cap 150,
yeah,
actually.
Someone, like, if you're Gil, you need to realize, like, hey, I should just stay on Sigma. Actually, he turns around as I say that. Because it's like, okay, where's that spider going to go? It's going to go to Sigma.
Keep this leg Black Winter Sigma. They need to keep this leg Shadowcat, on Kappa, and they have this legged assassin on Theta. I would have done it a little bit differently. I would have had the Shadowcat go to Theta because the Shadowcat's the range. You're not going to get much done with the legged assassin on Theta, unfortunately.
I think that the Shadowcat's got to be like the Shadowcat's literally one touch. If I was a Shadowcat, I would shut down like behind this pillar and try to come up for like a rear shot, because if the spider sees that, it's dead. There's no way an XPL isn't going to kill that. So Tios is trying to get Theta, Jay-Z denying it.
So you see Whiskey Tango Foxtrot and is bleeding a lot to Gladisaur Cicada. Is also lagged, nearly overheated with those smalls and snubs. Not unexpected, taking a mech that hot into a brawl push.
I think
taking more structure damage than enemy damage, it looks like, to be entirely honest, looking at that paper doll.
Yeah, 228 might have this, I think.
I think they do. I think they do because that spider lived.
Okay, well, let's see what happens with... Jay-Z actually gave up Theta. He needs to kill...
So he's going to run into Call Me Gil. Call Me Gil doesn't know.
Oh, he's going to DPS that leg sound so fast because Gil was like looking the wrong way.
Oh.
I'm confused. Didn't they know where the mechs were? They knew the spider was like on Theta, and they know the cicadas over at Gamma.
The spider was on Theta. Oh, that's really sad.
That should have looked completely different if he was leg shielding. But yeah, with that, I think it's over. 228's got it. They're gonna get Sigma. The cicada is completely fresh. I have to imagine it's gonna go and... Oh, I'm surprised he didn't take the fight on Gamma, to be honest. Maybe it's not over. I would have just gone and killed the Phoenix Hawk. Isn't the Phoenix Hawk like legged and super fucked? Yeah. Okay, well. I think Tios is probably gonna get killed by the cicada here. Tios just doing everything he can to try to survive. Jay-Z's gonna come for the rear though.
And there he is. They're gonna get that Tios with the crossfire between those two lights.
Webmaster, by the way, one touch leg. Webmaster needs to get a headshot or a back shot for them to have a chance, I think. Let's see it.
I don't know. They don't even have to... Oh, our Webmaster made it out. Okay. Now he's shooting. They know he's there. They also should know how hurt he is.
Yep.
And Goddess when the Cicada gets him.
That's it. Really, really, really nice clutch from 228. With,
I really think a little bit better coordination on that brawl push for KDCM, and I think they probably get it.
Oh, definitely.
And again, maybe some better mechs. I think that Phoenix Hawk is a tremendous mistake. That mech did more damage to himself via overheat than he did to the enemy, or than the enemy did to him. Like, that's... You don't want to see that. That's literally just like you took the wrong mech, honestly.
What would you bring instead if you didn't change anything else in their deck?
I mean, you have up to 50 tons because they had 5 free. I mean, I'd even think about bringing a Trebuchet. Yeah, you're a little bit slower, but you actually can overwatch the brawl push. You're still fast enough, like 110, 115 in that Trebuchet. You're still fast enough to follow the brawl push and just overwatch it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense.
I think a couple unfortunate things happened, though, for 228. I think Weapon Master getting a lot of early damage on his leg when he didn't need to. I think Zelnega and the Ice Spirit horrifically overextended. I think also Call Me Gil and Zelnega coming around the corner before the rest of KDCMX came around the corner.
Tios not being able to get up for a long time as well.
And then legging himself on the fall, too.
Yeah.
Like, I think a couple really unfortunate things that turn the other way, and that could be KDCM's game, honestly.
I definitely think that KDCM should have won that with proper play, to be honest. Yes. The deck from 228 is just so unbelievably greedy as far as, like, not being able to stop a push. Like, Marauder, Hot, Laser Bomb, Locust 3V, it needs to be on top, so, like, the Brawl mechs can kill it really fast when it engages. Cicada, really hot. Arctic Wolf, I think it was, like, Laser Bomb.
Laser Bomb Stearns, I think, for that Arctic Wolf, yeah.
Assassin 101, like 2 binary, really hot. Like Spider 5e. Yeah, I mean, large X-Ball is okay for getting legs, but yeah, overall, not very good. It's Captain Mech more so. So if KDCM doesn't win the brawl push against that deck, like they probably shouldn't go for it again. I would say, to be completely honest.
I honestly think you can ball up brawl pushing successfully in River City, especially from Team 2 side onto Team 1, and even in this assault drop, I think you can do it. So I'd like to see them try again, honestly.
Do you think there's anything that like? Why do you think the brawl push is like strong on River?
Well, because I lost to it.
Oh, okay. I just know that you had been vocal that you think like brawl is like pretty dead right now, like a couple months ago. And so I was wondering, did something change like in the meta? Do you think, or is it just like the maps, or? I do think that you guys, I mean, when you guys lost, you basically were down the salt mech, right? Because it like spawned in a far off lane, someone wasn't able to get to the fight. So
there's a number of things, but that's beside the point. The reality is we lost to a brawl push.
Yeah.
And there is a world in there where it is executable enough to the point that it's a win basically, with maybe some better mechs, some better execution, whatever. So I think discounting it because we had an assault out of the game is
No. I've always felt brawl is like a force to be reckoned with. It's scary. I just think that if you don't win that brawl push, is it going to be easier? Like I'm assuming that 2-2 will be more ready for it going forward. And in my opinion,
yep.
River is a lot easier to like with the heavier drops. It's a lot easier to have enough sustained DPS while still having like trade functionality compared to the lower drops. So I don't know. I'm just saying, like, I think it'd be harder to make a successful push on this max tonnage drop than in the mid tonnage drop there.
Here's the thing: is I don't from Team 2 side onto Team 1. I don't even think you have to. You just have to create space. You just need to bring mechs to create space so you can play side caps. You just ring around the rosy the entire outside of the map with faster, higher DPS.
Okay, but that sounds like it takes a lot more skill. That's not really like the drool brawl push that we were talking about, don't you think? Like, don't you think it's a little bit different? That's more of an aggressive shove and like capping strat rather than just like a YOLO with SRM strat.
Fundamentally, I don't think it is because you have to respect those mechs.
Okay.
Let's say you brought a normal deck of like I don't know. Let's just say the match that was cast earlier today. Oh, I don't know, Gen 2Cs and Vulcans and Shadowcats. Those mechs all have to respect those small pulse, high DPS tanky mechs. You have to give them space.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just think I guess what I'm thinking is like to fill in your tonnage here. If you bring like an SR mech like a Skokomish, you're fundamentally your game plan is very different than if you bring like an Xe with Laser Vomit. Like yeah, you can be aggressive with both, but if you have a Skokomish with SRMs, the idea of like, oh, we're gonna play the side caps and like play this slow game is just like probably not gonna work out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm down to see it though. We'll see if they try the brawl push again. It was a really close and interesting drop. Both of their brawl pushes have been compared to the middle one wasn't so much. 228 has been playing a really, really good match, by the way, in my opinion.
Yes, they have been, absolutely.
Like, definitely not trying to say, like, oh, KDCM's making all these mistakes, blah, blah, blah. Like, I do think KDCM has made mistakes, but I think 228 has played pretty stellar. I've not actually seen, like, a single obvious mistake other than probably what you said in the first drop with the Shadowcat being out of position where it should be in the back with the Beams LMG instead of in the front. Other than that, I don't know. Haven't really seen any glaring issues. Has looked solid. So with that said, I expect on Team 1, especially given how slow both their Luthien decks there were, I expect a pretty standard game, especially with 4 Alpha. Probably like the normal trade positions that you saw both Bile and Coalition use. And nothing too special. KDCM, on the other hand, I guess we'll see.
Both teams are locked, and I will throw us in. Both at 420.
On this map, I swear there's like always somebody that loads in as it hits 0 on the timer.
I've had issues loading this map recently, actually, in like scrims and practices and stuff. In fact, I've even had like hard crash issues from textures on this map.
Oh boy.
To where I have to redo my textures or whatever completely.
It's very consistent though. With the cast of the Ash, it was also there was like at least one player holding it up until the timer went all the way down. Do you like this map for comp? You think it's like a good comp map? Yeah, I don't either. I really hope it's not in CS.
It's literally a MOBA map. It's just one dimensional. You have 3 lanes to look down. You have 3 lanes to play around. That's what you get. It's literally the definition of MOBA map. These teams are dropping down though, and lo and behold, we see KDCM, Black Leonard Bellineers, Zeus Skokomish, Orion Skull. We see the Shadowcat Mishapeshu, the Hellfire C, the Ice Frick J, and the Hellfire Virago. I love to see this.
I think they're gonna have a bad time because we have DACA and sustained DPS on 228. So I think they're gonna have a bad time is what I think.
Well,
Lava Daishi.
One DACA. They only have one DACA mech. I see Jay-Z in the bull.
No, we got AC10 and AC5 bull sharks. Man.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, they're gonna have a bad time. That's what I think. I think the Stalker is gonna force them to make this aggressive movement. They're gonna think, oh, they're trade. We can go. And then they're gonna get farmed by these 2 DACA mechs.
As long as they focus out the bull sharks by going legs, preferably, that I think they'll be okay if they can do that.
Well, I just want to point out the bull shark actually has like a way more leg armor than most assaults. Got like plus 20. So if they didn't gimp their legs, that takes a long time to like a bull shark actually.
With DPS mechs, man, I don't think so.
Even
with 120 leg armor, you're losing a leg in 3 seconds of shooting from 2 mechs.
You basically have to do like 400 damage total, which you can do pretty fast, but like for 2 of them, like
and we see it starting now. They are just full send through Theta. There is no subtlety to this brawl push at all.
Jay-Z actually backing up,
exciting
rather than trying to take shots.
Jay-Z is backing up, which is smart. He is actually too far forward, but he's still probably gonna have the time to just
he needs to turn around and back up while shooting and put himself against the wall probably.
And unfortunately, we see this issue of Jay-Z being too far forward. They are going legs in the bull shark, which is smart. As I said, Tios is getting absolutely burned to death by all that focus fire, but Jay-Z does down. Follow, and you want those Hellfires to be the focus fire. So Nega and the Zeus is going to be next. So Nega just goes.
A big Poner doing the right thing, just holding S and firing. And these 2, there was 2 mechs that were flanking on KDCM.
They kind of scrolled really heavily on Lava Daishi. You only need 1 mech to run on this Stalker here. You don't need this Shadowcat and this Ice Ferret. Weapon Master and the Skull does go down. Snack is just under a 4-way crossfire.
Epic Power is still holding S and 99%.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think a little bit. We kind of knew what was gonna happen. I appreciate you trying to hype up. You know, there's always a chance. I guess I'm a bit too real, but yeah, the DACA bull sharks. Maybe one was a little bit too far forward, but I think I'm expecting Sir Epic Power to have a lot of damage this game. I'll just say that. I forgot to press tab, but it's okay.
Yeah, I would really like to have seen a split push, honestly, from KDCM. I would like to have seen maybe 1 or 2 fast mechs run through Epsilon to Upper City to Spaceport. I would have also liked to see just...
By the way, we got a kind of a sick 1v1 here. Cicada versus Black Lantern, and the Cicada is actually winning with the mags. Oh, it's going to get interrupted.
Yeah, that matchup Cicada just extremely strong. There goes the Black Lantern. There goes his leg. And that will be KDCM's Brawl Rushing Hopes dashed for this job.
Yeah. The like you said, the 2 mechs that were came in from Kappa side, probably unnecessary. They're just out of the fight while their teammates are dying. I think that kind of was their attempt at a split push. But if you do that, you have to make sure that your faster mechs that are coming in from the side are close enough that as soon as the fight begins, they can jump on the target. And that just wasn't the case.
I would really like to have seen them bring, instead of like one of these rushing heavies like the Zeus the Skull or the double Hellfires, I would like to see like a DACA, like a fast DACA heavy that sort of backlines the push and pushes maybe through Upper City onto Bridge. Because like you have all the time in the world. You're not really in a rush because as we saw, those bull sharks, I mean, the one was too far forward, but the other one just backpedaled and backed up.
I think that there's also just the element of like, I mean, you could argue Val's the best team in the game right now. And what was KDCM's like win against? KDCM won a drop against Val, doing a push from Team 2 to Team 1. Any team that's like, you know, using their brain at all is going to look at that and be like, they're probably going to push us when they're Team 2 to our Team 1. Because I don't think you normally bring DACA bull sharks and put him on spaceport like that, to be honest. You're doing that if you think your opponent's going to push you.
Absolutely.
So it's, yeah, it was just kind of like hard for KDCM to win that from the get-go, in my opinion. It's like a good counter strat from 228. They realized what was most likely, and they just brought a counter deck. Not to say KDCM can, again, do things better or anything, but I question if it was winnable, assuming that 228 played equally good.
Like I said, I think you have some fast Overwatch support mech behind those mechs pushing at the same time. I think that's a different game for sure.
Yeah. If you change the decks, yeah, I think you can still be aggressive against that sort of deck.
Mech, just a single mech. Even a heavy, even a fast AC5 deck, a heavy of some variety. That would be all it takes.
Last drop. KDCM Team 1 now. Honestly, they put up a pretty good fight against Vile when they were Team 1. A more typical game. I do think Team 1 is favored when it's control versus control. And I mean, 228 could bust out a push, but if I'm KDCM, I'm definitely thinking, like, okay, they've been playing standard. They're probably going to play standard. I hope KDCM brings, like, a more greedy standard deck with, like, a lot of ER large. I think they could make that work, honestly.
Question is, do you think either of these teams are going to use some of the trick spots that people have signed out for River City recently?
Trick spots. Oh, you mean like the Irby spot? And I'm not sure. Is there another spot? Oh, and maybe the blast spot that I used against you guys. That spot's pretty disgusting. I'm not gonna lie. I'd say that's probably the strongest spot as far as trading goes. Like in the entire map, it actually is on team 2. Do I think they'll use it? I mean, they use the summoner spot. I'm not sure where exactly they picked that up, but if they did their homework, I would expect that the Blood spot will get used if it's control versus control, yeah. I think it's too strong not to use. I mean, what do you think? You played against it and beat it, so obviously it's not like, you know, game-winning or anything, but would you agree that it seemed pretty strong when you were fighting against it?
No, actually. I actually didn't feel like it was very strong
Okay.
at all. We science out the spot ourselves and realized that you're completely out of range to most of the map. And pretty much the main advantage of that spot is scouting, actually.
Interesting.
So we were not afraid of that in the slightest.
Well, is there any other spots you were thinking of when you made that comment, or you just think that, like, oh, newer spots?
Just anywhere. I mean, we're seeing in this tournament especially, and in some of these maps too, like Luthi and some of these, like Luthi and these Alpine maps, previous maps, even Ceres to an extent. We're just seeing teams explore some of these just crazy high positions on top of buildings, on top of mountains, ridges. It's really interesting to see, actually. It's a lot more usage of terrain than perhaps you might have seen in the past.
Yeah, definitely.
So just anything. Maybe something we haven't figured out.
I do think there is a lot of positions in science to be done on maps in general. And you have to be careful not to lean too far into positions. But they can be really strong, especially as openers. But you don't want to, like, put yourself in a spot that, like you were saying, is really far away and then, like, have the idea of, like, okay, I'm never going to move up. Usually that's a bad idea unless it's, like, kind of centralized and can hit a lot of different spots without being too far away. But yeah, I do think there's a lot of positioning in science as far as those positions go that is still definitely unexplored. Maybe we'll see something new. I expect if KDCM does bring control, that they'll set up very similar to how they set up against Valda. They'll probably put, like, a mech in the typical, I don't know what you call it. I guess, like, nests, we can call it. You know what I'm talking about, like near Gamma, like up on the high ground. They'll probably put a mech there.
Near Gamma on the high, like the High Rocks?
Yeah, the High Rocks. Yeah.
Okay.
I expect they'll put a mech there, and maybe they'll put a mech to the right of Gamma up on the high ground to try to control Theta. But maybe also just, like, at the edge of Spaceport. That's pretty typical. And 228 will probably put at least one mech upper city, like near Epsi, on those rocks. Potentially moving it up. I could be completely wrong, though. And we don't even know if it's going to be control versus control. Both
All
teams
right, they're
sold.
both locked, and we'll get us into it. Both again at 420.
Last drop of the night. So far, 228 has played really well and have a 4-0 to show for it. Let's see if KDCM can't get that one drop at the end.
Like, you know, a spot I think would be crazy if teams explored it, and I've seen no one do this. I don't know if we're gonna see it right now, tonight, anytime in the future. But these smokestacks, south side, like the 4 like nuclear power plant cooling towers, like a mech on top of there, I think would go absolutely crazy. You have almost unrestricted vision to 60% of the map, 70% of the map.
Yeah, I think the issue would just be
straight down every side.
I think that could be really good to like receive a push, especially. But I think the issue is just like you don't have any cover, so you're just gonna get shot by everything too, right? Goes both ways. Yeah, you see the entire map, but the entire map sees you. But I do think that, like, yeah, if you were uncontested, then that would be probably the strongest position. Up high, centralized. Control both Epsi and Sigma and get really good shots in the Theta and around Rock Garden.
Just even one example, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you saw, I think was it Sleepy? He was in like a building over near Kappa. In the CXF versus Revenant match. He did pretty good. I didn't think it was like super strong, but I think he got good damage in it. He definitely helped on the Kappa fight that ended up happening. Anyways, though, what do we got?
So looking at KDCM side, we have Orion Skull, we have a Bull Shark Mako, we have a Stone Rhino 2, Locust 1E, interesting, Shadowcat P, Blackjack Arrow, and a Vulcan 5S. What do you have for 228?
Yeah. Mako, actually Goss, LPL Mako, ER large, ER medium, Bull Shark 2. Fury with ER large. Typical Flea 17, Snub, in Plasma, Shadowcat, Phoenix, and Vulcan, respectively. Blast Rancor, actually, I imagine this is going up to the Crane spot that I used against you guys. I don't see why else it'd be down here.
We see the Locust trying to contest Theta right away for KDCM, but Fire Ant in the Flea 17 is denying him pretty effectively. Pretty much about even on damage right now. If Call Me Gil could have 1 or 2 more mechs behind him, they could probably get this Theta cap, honestly. But the rest of KDCM's lights looks like they're kind of playing out wide, almost. Kind of playing everywhere.
Yeah,
he's pretty widespread right now, actually. I like more of a central focus because 228 is going to start to focus firepower onto this Locust on Theta. It's only a matter of time before one of these mechs looking.
He's going to back off.
It's a good shot.
This is control versus control for the most part. It'll be interesting to see. Is it Jay-Z, I think, with the LPL? Yeah, the clan LPL. See how he gets that actually into function. A little bit out of range.
Sir Epic Poner in the Bull Shark 2 also has sort of a more mid-range Bull Shark with the 5-year large and the 6-year mediums.
Oh, the Jenner did go to the spot I was talking about that the Irby was going to with Revenant. So he's kind of trying to control Theta and get cross shots on the Locust, but Zell is actually over here trying to contest him. I think he got a good shot into Andalord there.
I think that's dangerous for that Shadowcat. That's kind of dangerous to try to contest that.
I think he's okay right now because they should have a good idea of where all the mechs are, and as long as he doesn't expose to the 2 Bull Sharks, there's not really anything that can shoot him.
So Call Me Gil is going to try and snake onto Theta again, or run on, and now he needs to run off. He's running off. Okay. Down on the damage trade, though, with that 85% Locust, but KDCM is up on the cap tick. So if they can keep Theta in no man's man or snake it at some point, and the Locust is going to try again, this could be actually really heroic play for the Locust if he gets it. Sticking, and the Locust does in fact get Theta. So now it is 3 cap for KDCM.
Lavadashi is getting pelted. He did not understand how to play the position properly and was not hiding behind the cover that you can use up there. It gets forced down. So that blast, I have to imagine, is probably going to push up now at some point, now that he's been forced onto the low ground. And that means that this right side, KDCM's dominating it, by the way. Like, I would expect them. Gladiator might actually die. He's like stuck.
Gladiator took a ton of damage, actually. Oh my goodness. From the skull? Skull is the only thing that's had good shots on it.
Yeah,
It must have been the skull. Good.
KDCM's
Nice.
dominating this drop right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Teos, fix the map. You got stuck, my friend. No. They're capping Theta more, so I don't... It's going to be really difficult for 228 to get that back. Do you think they'll maybe try to go for a Kappa with the Bloodass moving up?
That is what they're looking at right now. They need this Bull Shark from JZ, this mid-range Bull Shark. A couple shots from this can turn the tide of the match. Even still, but they have to make their decision.
Oh, I like KDCM's play though to give up Kappa entirely and just go up and go up to FC because they can just kill everything up there.
Initiative, and the thing is, they have the initiative because they're sitting on those 3 caps right now.
Yeah.
So they can make this rotate way more effectively. 228's just trying to come up their heels, basically. But KDCM's ahead of the ball game.
Yeah, KDCM's kind of stalling though. I think they should go Upper City if they're gonna do this move. You gotta go get FC.
They are moving. I think it's just slow. You have the arrow, which is slow. The Shadowcat's way faster than everything else. The Shadowcat's just waiting, which I think is smart.
Mm-hmm. The skull specifically kind of stops.
He has to have a UAV above his head, so 228 surely knows the Shadowcat's sitting behind that building.
This is
does bleed a little bit on the way, and there's the Vulcan coming in. So that's 3 mechs now. 228's going to be able to respond with their double Bull Sharks and their Jenner. Ooh,
Skull.
I think Bull Sharks favor that. I favor the Bull Sharks receiving this here, but we do see Weapon Master in the Skull has actually cut up through the rocks. He has Jay-Z's attention, kind of getting blasted a little bit but that's okay because that's giving these 3 lights from KDCM space to take Epsilon, while Jay-Z just sits on the low ground and has to deal with this extremely aggressively pushing Skull right now.
Mm-hmm. They're gonna look to pick the Skull. I think though Jay-Z's walking towards him. He gets halved.
Yeah, I think he gave his back out around the building or his side out around the building. They're going to probably get the Skull, but in the meantime, they don't care. You don't care that you're going to lose the Skull because you're about to get a 4 cap.
Well, I think they probably should have jumped and tried to like actually fight like Epic Poner. Instead, they've kind of been peeking him one at a time, giving him what he wants, and so I'm thinking
that's true. Way in the Ferret actually taking a ton of damage in that Blackjack arrow. That's not great.
I think they're going to die up here.
Shots from getting knocked out.
I think this is turning for 228.
Look where Lava Daishi is. What is he doing in the water? That's crazy.
He's trying to get an angle.
You're not getting you're getting some shots, but man, you're way out of range. You're way out of the map.
He really should just try to jump back up. He's not in a good position there at all.
The KDCM's lights are having tremendous trouble. Now 228 is reinforced, so there are now 5
Back cap. Just fire and winning the aim for his team essentially by grabbing this cap. They can't contest him. So it's going to be 4 cap pretty fast for 228. And KDCM completely surrounded while that happens.
Yeah, they need to run. They're kind of hanging around. They're meandering. The Shadowcat's just taking damage, meandering around. There's 10%.
Well, they're 4 capped. I feel like they have to somehow push. Like Teos is 94%, Snake is 97%.
They lost the opportunity. They're going to try it, and they are more damage, or they are more fresh.
Yeah, they have to try.
They have 2 trade assaults. They have 2 trade assaults versus the mid-range assaults that 228 brought. I'd favor the mid-range assaults.
Gil going for this back cap in the meantime.
Because 228's KDCM's lights just bled so hard trying to fight this. And we see TLC in this Bull Shark. He's almost dead.
Yeah.
He's gone. Within 10 seconds of pushing, he's gone. Mm-hmm. That's the difference between a sniping Bull Shark and a mid-range Bull Shark.
Absolutely.
The sniping Bull Shark has way less damage output and has to stare for much longer, meaning he's just eating more damage than everything else.
Fair goes
the
down
Blackjack. Zelnega won't be far off. Neither will Trillic. It's just a complete disaster, actually, for KDCM. It's a complete disaster for their Upper City movement. They had the advantage. They had the initiative. Weapon Master gave them the space to make the plays they needed. They didn't capitalize on it. There's just a disconnect between 3 different parts of their team, and they're all just going to get collapsed on here.
I think they're
going to get knocked out.
I would have liked to see them just go together and like play to kill instead of try to get that cap.
When Jay-Z's Bull Shark, and I'm pretty sure they sent something else on Weapon Master too, right then and there was your opportunity when they turned to kill that Orion. That was your opportunity to make something happen. But even before that, the ranged assaults that were just sitting on Gamma Spaceport, not contributing to the game very much because 228's just hiding in the buildings, those mechs needed to have moved up sooner.
Yeah. I know, I think there's like... Yeah. No, I mean, I think you summarized it pretty well. I agree with you.
And that will not be long left for Call me go.
Closer drop though. I mean, like the percentages tell a story,
Yeah, the
and like
percentages are very
KDCM
close.
was leading at some point during that game. I will say with
It
confidence.
really kind of spells the point home that if they had taken if KDCM had taken their opportunities better, they might have been able to pull that out.
Yeah.
Really, really, really unfortunate though that like especially Teos and the Bull Shark, just 10 seconds of pushing up, I see him go to 90% to 70 to 65 to dead.
It's
And
tough.
it's a somber story for that. You don't want that to happen when you're trying to make plays.
Jay-Z getting 743 of those, that mid-range, getting pushed into the perfect mech to receive. So that sort of push. Yeah. Honestly, I'm surprised. The damage that surprises me the most is the Fury actually getting 445 with the ER and LMG. I guess it had that early angle in that cheeky spot, but even so, very, very well done from him. Get that much damage with the Fury. A close game though.
It was a close game for sure. I really think there's a huge disconnect between what what different parts of the KDCM team saw. That's kind of what I see there. I see Weapon Master making a play that other people don't capitalize on his team. I see the two assaults from KDCM just arriving way too late. I see the lights hanging around too long, thinking that they have support that they don't actually have. Just a tremendously large disconnect between all the different elements of the team. And I think if that doesn't happen, I think that's their drop, honestly.
Yeah.
I think they were up in nearly every stage of that drop, up into including the point where Calm Gill was able to snake Theta from right under T28's Watchfly. And T28 bled so hard with that Shadow Cat and with that Blood Asp. I would have almost even argued, because that's the weak link on their south side of the map, I would have even argued like Weapon Masters Orion and all those guys who beat those guys up really hard down south. You play for south at that point. You play for that that Sigma cap. You play for that Sigma cap, I think, at that point, rather than trying to brute force Upper City. Like, you can snake it with one or two fast mechs, but I think the rest of your team just goes down south because you beat down T2's resistance so hard.
Yeah, I think that's a very viable option. So just fight on Kappa and then look for Sigma after. Truth is, like you were saying Sigma, but KCM, they had 3 cap for so long, they didn't even need to go for Sigma. They could have just, if they so chose, they could have just fought for Kappa and held Theta. I don't think they were in danger of losing Theta, to be honest. So
no, not at all.
They could have just held Kappa and ignored Sigma entirely.
Honestly, they didn't have to make that Upper City incursion because they had Theta control and they were beating back that Shadow Cat, which is a big part of that south side pressure, and the Blood Asp, which again, the one part of the map that Blood Asp is in range is that south side. So you're really beating back that south side pressure. You can give that to just give yourself space, knowing that Tutu is going to have a hard time incursing on your Kappa point. So you kind of can keep that Kappa point locked. You can keep the Gamma point locked with your traders. You just have to make sure they can't snake Theta. And you can just hold that if you're KDCM.
Yeah, I think the Upper City push could have worked, but I would just want to point out they stalled. They really did. Like the Skull, you should have seen. From my perspective, the Skull like stood in Rock Garden. Like it was almost like they were communicating, asking like which side do we want to go. I think if they had just gone together, they could have just rolled that Upper City with 5 versus 3. I'm pretty sure it was, and it still would have been a win. But they just took too long to make a move either way. Like whichever way you're gonna go, do it fast.
Yep. Agreed. That was an interesting set, though. I think KDCM did play well, but 228 played better.
I think 228 played very well. I'm very impressed by how they played this. Honestly, I didn't see any real mistakes for them. Thank both teams for playing. Well played to 228. Nice 5-0. And thank you for casting with Bowser.
Thank you for casting with me. Thank you for running the stream.
Very nice match.
And thank you, everybody, for watching.
Yep. Thanks, guys.